بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذرياته وأهل بيته ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Don't worry, I'll make it short, inshallah, because we're here to hear the words of our guest. I was asked to introduce him, and I'm somewhat puzzled also about why I was asked to introduce him, because this is perhaps maybe only the fourth or fifth time that I've got a chance to meet Shaykh Samer, mashallah. First time I met him was after moving to Chicago, which wasn't that long ago. It's maybe a year and a half or so ago. And so I don't know so much about him. I don't know where he was born. I don't know what year he was born in. I don't know which high school he went to or which university he went to. I don't know any of those things. But what I do know, I just wanted to share with you. I do know is that he's somebody, when I tried my best to kiss his hand, even though he pulls his hand away very quickly. And when I see his shoes, I want to grab them. Why? Because I see in his hand and I see in his shoes the same thing that I saw in my mashayikh that I studied from in Darul Islam. The ones that very long years have passed and I haven't been able to see them or meet them. And there's something in them that we don't find in every street corner and every house in every city, especially not in America. And what that thing is what? Is the knowledge of the Book of Allah Ta'ala, the knowledge of the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When we say someone is a qari over here, we usually mean somebody recites with a wonderful voice. The maximum we may mean is that somebody knows how to recite the qira'at ashara. What the qira'at are based on, what every single ayah, what the riwayat of the different ulama are, what the poetry, the ash'ar of the different Arabs that says that this way of pronouncing this word is from this tribe and this way is from that tribe. We don't see anybody over here with that knowledge. Shaykh brings that knowledge with him to us. The hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the names of the individual narrators of the hadith. Many people, for some reason, I'm a magnet for people who want to argue about stuff. They figure this guy is like us, argumentative, so let's go and have a fun time. I tell most people, forget about asking for hadith. You've never heard a hadith in your life before. Hadith is a text and a chain of narration. I said you cannot name any chain of narration, so why are we going to argue with each other about hadith? We sit in dars with Shaykh Samer. He knows that this person, mashallah, his name is this, and this person, his name is that. It's a mistake in the book. We go look it up. Turns out it's actually a mistake in the book. The ahkam of the sharia, Shaykh Samer, mashallah, carries with him in his heart. To the point that one time I'm a very argumentative person again. So I challenged him. I said, Shaykh, you're a Hanafi. Why you Hanafis only are the ones that say this, and all the other Imams, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik and Shafi'i and Ahmad, they disagree with you? He says, no, amongst the Salaf, Awza'i said this, and Thawri said this, and Hasan al-Basri said this. I said, subhanallah al-azim, nobody even bothers to look at those names, what their opinions were anymore, even though they are the foundational pillars of the law, mashallah, and the precedent that's handed down to us. That's what he carries with him. Every fun, mashallah, we haven't been able to tire him out, despite trying. And so what we say is that we see in him what we saw in our mashayikh. We see in him also the amal, the tatbiq bil amal, the matching of the knowledge with the action. That he genuinely feels that he's the most humble person in the audience, even though for everybody else it's blaring adhar min ash-shams, clearer than the light of day, that he is, mashallah, the best amongst us, mashallah, but he genuinely believes that he is a low and a humble person amongst us. In bravery and in leadership and in personality, because we've become people of style, not substance. We've become people of outward and showing other people what to do and wanting to take control but not actually show true leadership. MashaAllah, Shaykh teaches in the Mahad al-Fath al-Islami, which is the central madrasa, or one of the central madrasas, if not the central madrasa of Damascus. Damascus is not a joke. This is a place that people for over 1,000 years, century after century, people have been going to seek knowledge. So when he sits in the seat to teach the books, and these are the seat of the mashayikh like Imam Nawawi, rahimahullah tabarak wa ta'ala, Ibn Salah, rahimahullah tabarak wa ta'ala, and all of the, mashallah, big names of ilm. He sits in the seats of those mashayikh and he teaches in the seat of those mashayikh. Which books? He's teaching the hidayah. For those of you who have any knowledge of the sharia, you'll know that it is difficult. Many students of knowledge, that's the dars that they phase out and they tune out. And why? It's so difficult to read, it's so difficult to understand. The Shaykh, mashallah, teaches it. And indeed, the majlis of our akabir, the akabir mashayikh, the great elders that preserved this deen and passed it on. And what does that mean? To most people, it's lip service. Many people nowadays, it means nothing. You know what the hal in Sham is. This is not a place to talk about politics and whatever, but despite whatever people's feelings are, you know how difficult of a situation it is over there right now. Many people, when difficulty comes, you see the mass of people running away from it. This is the person that not only Allah gave him the gift, but he has the ta'zeem of it. He has the understands the reality and what it's going to be worth Yawm al-Qiyamah in his heart so much that when everybody is running away from the fitna, he's the one. There can be bombing and killing in the streets left and right. He's the one who sits and keeps those durus going, keeps the transmission of the Quran going, of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ going, of our holy sharia going, and teaching him and his students. They keep that silsila going so that it doesn't break. And this is in a country, this is in a place when the tragedy of 9/11 happened. How many people shaved their beards? How many people didn't come to the masjid for a year and a half, for 2 years? How many people replaced their hijab with big sun hats or with nothing at all? And we don't blame those people. I'm not trying to blame those people, because in a state of fear, a person has to do so many things. But no, Allah Ta'ala created such a creation that there are some people who at that moment will panic, and there are some people at that moment you'll see that their iman shines. And we really, wallahi, one of the reasons that I even came to see Shaykh was that I'm so myself emotional about the idea of that he's here. There are people leaving even this very day, and he still plans on going back to that place. This is something special. This is a gift that we don't deserve. And undoubtedly he's going to get up and say, well, no, Shaykh, everything Hamzah was saying, he was exaggerating and blah, blah. But Allah knows the haqiqah, and Allah gave us an ability to see and to make muwazana of those things. So don't worry about who's here and who's not here. Don't worry about any of those other things. Just sit for a minute and also, be blessed that sitting here in Schaumburg, Illinois, we have this small piece of what, mashallah, people tired themselves out and traveled halfway across the world and made themselves bankrupt and gave everything for that. A piece of it came to us for free. This is a great blessing from Allah that we for which we show thanks. And so I've said too much already, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this Mubarak Majlis, inshallah. Shaykh Samer.